So I've got this old intake manifold. That I have to clean up. It's from my buddy's old Honda. It's from a K series. I think it's just a K20. And he's kind of working on it right now, trying to do some stuff to it. I'll link his channel in the description so you can see what he's doing with it if you want. So he basically has no use for this, and he's got a new one, so he just gave it to me, and I'm going to throw some powder on it, and I'm going to try my best to sell it, make some money on it, I guess. He wasn't going to use it. It was going to sit around, so I'm going to clean it up, take all these bolts off, make sure I mask everything, and then I'm going to try to paint it. It just barely fits in my oven, so I guess I'll see how that goes. I'm going to guess that most of these bolts here are probably 10 millimeters, just like the standard of everything else. And this is my toolbox and it's just full of junk. So it's gonna take me a while to find a 10 millimeter wrench, a 10 millimeter. So I got one. Well, these are on here pretty good. I want to see what I can do about it, because I got to pull this off. It's going to go in the oven. I'm sure there's a gasket in here. Maybe it's metal, and that would be nice, but I'm assuming that it's not. Look at the amount of carbon buildup. It doesn't look that bad in here, but it's wet, which usually means oil. So anyway, I'm gonna finish taking the rest of the stuff off, and that's that, I guess. I'm noticing there's some O-rings in here still. Here and here. That one popped out and that one popped out. That's from the injector. Now I'm gonna try my best to blast this. I don't have that much media in there, so, and this is not supposed to be, like, this isn't for a customer or anything. This is just me trying to do it. I'm gonna test the product here. So I'm gonna leave this on because this is gonna help me. This is gonna be key to getting it in the oven, just by carrying it off from it being painted. I'm gonna pick it up from this, I'm gonna pick it up from this. And this mating surface and this mating surface, I'm gonna bring over to the wire wheel and clean it up, or I might just use, I have a little wire wheel for my drill, and I might just try to get this gunk off here. So what I'm gonna do here, because this is mostly oil here and carbon buildup, I'm just gonna burn it out with a torch. That'll also help get any oil out of the pores, but I'm gonna pre-bake it first before I coat it anyway. Now the wire wheel I have, or the bench grinder I have, I should say, is kind of crappy. This is it, and it's pretty much new, but it is like very weak, and if you really apply not much pressure at all, it kind of begins to stop. So I've got everything plugged. This is going to be the same way it's plugged for powder. And this is just so that I could throw it in the blaster without crap getting in it. So unfortunately, I don't think I have the proper blast media, so I kept having to turn on the compressor, and that's gonna use a lot of energy. So I just kind of did my best to get in here, to get all the black carbon out, and to get it all into the smaller little spots. And from the rest, I'll just use the grinding wheel and some sandpaper, because it's just nothing but just some minor corrosion. Look how much media got inside here. Even though I covered the holes, I guess there must have been, I don't know, open areas or something, I guess. I don't know. Anyway, I'll just blow it out. My plan anyway, so I think I got all of it, 120 PSI. Even if I'm still gonna go run water through it tomorrow, and I'm gonna come back and blow it again for even longer to get the rest out. So this is good. As far as prepping, I still have to do a little bit in here and around in here. You know, here is still a little dark. In here, it's almost ready. So this is the best I think that I can do with this. I blasted it, I burned it, then I blasted it, then I sanded it, then I washed it, then I burned it again, then I washed it again, then I sanded it again, and then I used a wire wheel on it again. So, and then I used a screwdriver to get into all the little spots, you know, trying to dig all the crap out, and then I used the compressed air on it, and then I washed it again. So now I'm gonna do the pre-bake, which is just to make sure any sort of oil that might be in the system does not come out while it's coated. If I coat it and then the oil comes out, you're gonna see it in the coating. And it's usually 400, and the breaker's not set, so. While the oven is working the way it's supposed to, I'm going to set up all my powder stuff. And actually I have one little part that I want to try first. So this is the little, I don't know what the sense of this was, but this was on the back of the manifold. I guess it's a way that you could clean it inside if you wanted to. I'll just run this on the wire wheel before I do it. So this here is why you pre-bake. That's all crap burning off there.
Took a shot in the dark. How did I stray from the start? It's so easy to see. I just wanna come home.
Okay, so from what I can see, everything has been masked. These are for the injector ports. These circles were really tough to cut out, but it's done. Even the little window down here is masked, which is what this goes over. This is masked. This is masked. All the little ports and bolts are masked. I'm gonna pull this stud out, but I just masked it anyway. Now all I gotta do is plug all this stuff, and then I can start coating it. So the color that I went with this is from Prismatic Powders, which is where I get all my stuff. This is a Wrinkle red. This tells you how to cure it. So cure schedule, 15 minutes at 375, which is kind of nice because some of the stuff is 400 degrees and some of it might be a little more, but typically 400 degrees is kind of standard, at least from what I've worked with. I'm gonna blow off the intake manifold one last time, but I have to be gentle because I don't want all the masking that I just took forever to put on there to blow off, and then I'm gonna bring it in here and I'll open up these doors and I'll start coating. So I'm going to mask up here so that I don't have to breathe in all this paint. So basically from here on out, it will probably be silent until I'm done painting. Okay, so if I'm covered in powder, well, obviously you know why. I can't see my face, so I don't know. Anyway, this stuff is coated and it's in the oven, and I just have to wait for it to dry. I've already blown out all my air hoses and the containers and the gun and everything. So everything's cleaned up. Stuff's just in the oven and baking. So once the part hits the temperature, 375, then I'll start my 15-minute countdown, and once that's done, then the parts can come out. So I might just shut the oven off and leave it open so that it can cool down. That way I don't have to try to force myself to find a way to get it out while it's super hot, because it just fits. So let me show you what it looks like baking in the oven currently. It's just looks a little shiny, but it should flow out properly. Once the paint cures, and once it's out of the oven, it should dull out a little bit between the time it's cooling down. So really we'll just have to see what it looks like when it's fully done. And once all the tape is off, and you know. So now we just wait. So the intake manifold is done, and I pulled the tape, and I already put the back plate back on that I took off in the beginning. So here it is. The only thing is this. I don't know what happened here, maybe when I was putting it into the oven. Other than that, it looks awesome. I'll sell it for $7,000. Okay, well, that's it. I don't know what else to say. So if you like it, I guess let me know. If you don't, let me know. Otherwise, well, see ya.